it's Jess from Opticare, and today I'll be talking to you about complex frame fitting, because sometimes the challenge in practice is not so much the prescription and very much the frame. In practice, we are finding more and more jobs where the frame itself requires a way more technical approach. This could be for a wrapped frame, sports frame, it could be for a clip fit style frame, for rimless and semi-rimless designs, it could be for mixed mounting, or perhaps where the frame shape needs an adjustment before the lens can be produced. With standard frames, the lens shape is usually straightforward. However, with our more specialized frames, big and bold frames, sports frames, this is where the lens often needs way more consideration. The shape may need to be modified, the edge profile may need to be adapted, or the lens may need a bevel in one position, a groove in another, or a completely customized finish depending on how the frame holds the lens. For example, in some semi-rimless or mixed rimless designs, the same lens may need both a groove and a bevel. So these are not standard edging jobs. They require careful interpretation of the frame, of the lens, of the mounting style, and of the final cosmetic result. Clip fit frames can be particularly technical. These frames often require the lens shape to be designed and adapted around the original insert or frame system. So it's not as simple as tracing the frame and cutting the lens. The lens has to sit securely, align correctly, and maintain the intended optical position within the frame. With sports style frames, additional factors such as wrap angle, lens curvature, prescription compensation, material choice, edge thickness, and even the frame composition all have to be considered. If these details are not managed properly, the result can affect both the fit of the lens and the way that the patient experiences their vision. And that is why these jobs need to be assessed before production in order to ascertain accurate fitting. At Opticare, we can review complex frames and then determine how the lens needs to be designed, edged, finished, and fit. That may also involve adjusting the trace or adapting the lens shape, perhaps selecting the correct edge profile, managing groove placement, or combining different finishing techniques all on the same lens. It may also involve reviewing the prescription, material, lens design, thickness, frame curve, and how the lens will physically sit in the frame. Because in complex fitting cases, a successful result depends on more than just the prescription. It depends on understanding how the lens and the frame work together. And this is where lab experience really matters. A small change to the lens shape or bevel position, groove depth, or finishing technique can determine whether the job fits securely, whether it looks clean, and whether it performs properly for the patient. And these are the kinds of jobs that show the difference between standard processing and true technical lens work. So if you have a complex frame, an unusual shape, a clip fit system, a sports frame, or a mounting style that requires careful consideration, send it through to us. Our team can review the frame, the prescription, the lens design, and all the fitting requirements to help determine the most appropriate way to produce the job. It's another example of how Opticare supports practices with complex lens solutions like no one else.